Now, Corey, I was talking to you yesterday. You were out at the U.S. Open, hardcore, New York Times, sniffing out all the good stories. You didn't care about anything else that was going on there. What were your observations about the new stadiums and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, just yesterday the weather was kind of so overbearing. It was hard. You know, I was out there watching a few different players and a few different matches, and I didn't get to the supposedly Louis Armstrong Stadium is the new one. I didn't get over to it. I was in Ash and I was at the grandstand. But you know, I saw some good tennis, and also I had the thought to get on for the show today to get on Stephen Turner, who I wrote up a couple of years ago as kind of like the anti-guru of tennis. I mean, if you're watching the networks, you can have your McEnroes and your Chrissy Everetts and all the different commentators, but there's a tennis guru and former professional on the Upper East Side, which if you ever walk past a playground on East 67th Street in Manhattan at a certain time in the morning, every morning you will see a fella there hitting a ball against the wall practicing tennis. This would be Stephen Turner. Stephen's in his early 70s, and in the 70s he was a tennis professional who played the likes of Stan Smith, Rod Laver, Nastase. And his career never, got the success on the court that he had hoped for, but he came away with it from his own type of theory of playing tennis. So I'm glad he can come on and grace our airwaves today. Thanks, Steve.
Well, thank you, Corey. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
And may I say, I've been listening for an hour here.
Yeah, I was hoping you missed that last segment, but okay.
I not only did I enjoy the last segment, but I enjoyed very much the horse segment.
Good.
Because it has a little bit to do. It has a little bit to do with what I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
And everything you've said today, including your trip up, that side trip you took up the regular roads, is applicable to the same things I'm going to say about tennis. And so it's a great pleasure that I'm with you.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Well, listen, before you get into your agenda, my agenda is my only agenda is just to get you talking. Even though you don't go to the Open anymore, and you've competed, you've actually competed in U.S. Opens, right? I mean, back in
about 7 of them when they were at Forest Hills.
Yep.
Right.
And
I never complete at
the West Side Tennis Center in Forest Hills, right?
Right.
Yep. Now they're in Flushing Meadows, the tennis.
It's all
center.
concerts there now. It's no tennis.
Right.
Great concerts.
And now it's become big business. When I played, when I was in the qualifying there and I into the first round, there was one year that they said, if you don't win the first round, you shouldn't get any money at all. Oh. So a first round loser in that particular year got no dollars. And so I qualified, got into the first round, lost in the first round, and got no dollars. Now you get $57,000
for losing
as a first round loser. Mm-hmm. And so things have changed.
Well, let me ask you, how else has tennis changed in your since the 70s and wooden rackets and McEnroe and Borg and Connors and everyone else, even going back Laver and Smith and them, and now we have great equipment. Everyone is maxed out nutrition wise. The bodies are bigger. I think. I mean, the players are more powerful. The serves are faster. Right? All of that is true. Yeah.
Well, again, as you just said, there's of course the technology is better. The metal rackets, the strings are different. But, I don't agree with you about the nutrition. And I don't agree with you about the size of the players being that important either. Because, let me just say this. I have a vision of the guy who climbed Mount Everest the first time.
Sir Edmund Hillary.
That guy, Hillary.
Sir Edmund Hillary.
Right. If you've ever seen
his
the
Sherpa was tensing.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear.
His Sherpa was tensing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Yeah, the Sherpa basically carried him up to the.
Yes, right.
But Hillary gets all the credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets all the credit. But if you saw his tools, he basically a rope and a pick.
Yeah.
He had nothing. Now they helicopter you to 15 feet from the top. The point is
I see
things have changed. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Also, would there ever been a 4-minute mile if it wasn't for Roger Bannister?
Right.
You see? So what I'm trying to drive at is the psychological aspects in man, the potential aspects in the human being. So the potential aspects, I don't get. Of course, the guys have gotten bigger. They're all 6'5" now. I'm 5'10". Rod Laver was 5'7". But the point, what I'm trying to tell you is that I think that the confrontation against another human being brings out potential within the guy. Maybe he's smaller. Maybe he'll have to come up with an idea, you see, how to beat him. So I'm going to bring this to a biblical thing of David and Goliath. The story of David and Goliath. One doesn't have to be a believer in God to believe this story, because here's a question of he used a slingshot against the giant. So the thing is, that's what I'm looking for the development of tennis players. And I call it tennis of the future. And if you remember, Corey, that's my idea of using the left hand. In today, we use either the right hand forehand and a two-handed backhand, or like Federer does, a one-handed backhand. But that's limiting the person in the space of the court. A person's potential must use two sides of his body, two hands. And then he has to do fewer steps on the court. So if I'm playing a guy who's faster than me, but I only have to take 3 steps less per point, I'm going to be as fast as he is. And so what I'm looking for is the evolution of the human being. And of course they're bigger now and stuff like that. But I look forward to overcome the challenge. And some of the great players in the past, I believe, would have overcome the challenge. What you do was a tough guy.
What you do? I had dinner the other night when my seat beside Renee Richardson. Remember?
Ray Richardson.
Renee.
Oh, Renee. Yes. Of course.
Yeah. He.
Yes.
She.
I know Renee Richards. It's Renee Richards.
Richards, sorry, yes, right.
Richards, right.
So anyway, I had a great
all her life.
Did you really, when she was a man and was in the Navy and played for, was it Yale or was it Harvard?
Yes, Yale. I played against him.
Yes.
When it was him, I played him.
Right.
Okay.
And now he's this big. I mean, she is now this big, tall, powerful woman. And,
right.
But anyway, big hands and absolutely charming, amazing person. So now, can you change that? There's a human being that changed from man to woman.
Well, that's a very good point, and it brings up a very deep point about the potential of what a human being is.
Yeah.
And in the past 20, 30 years, as a society, that's opened up that one can choose what they are in life, so to speak, and they're not limited by what the society thinks we were born into.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different issue.
You're right.
You see, it's a very deep issue about Renee Richards.
Yeah.
It's a very deep issue.
Well, let me ask you. I'm trying to allow.
Played as a woman.
In
the women's tour.
Right. So they did allow that. I mean, there was some controversy about allowing her to play, was there not?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting controversy. I don't know if you want to get into that subject here.
Not much, but I just was wondering if she was allowed to play.
If you really want to know, at another time, I'm the perfect person to talk to about that.
Well, did you beat him?
Yeah, I beat him, but I'm going to tell you something, Corey. When I played him, he was just out of the Navy. He had just come back. I played him. I was only about 17 years old, 16 years old.
Wow.
I played him, I'll never forget the match. I remember it right now. I played him in Great Neck, okay?
Yeah.
He gave himself bad calls. He let me win, Corey.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. He's letting me win for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Now, if you want to deep into, you see, this is part of my...
Let me just butt in. So, Steve, I knew we were going to get into. So you have a whole theory about when you talk about tennis is a game of the mind. You were kind of starting to get into that for a second with the U.S. Open. Forget the rackets, forget the build, forget how big they are. It's a game of the mind. Winners are winners. McEnroe. Why would Connors have won? People who were technically better, that he was playing. But you say it's a game of the mind, and most people wind up. We talk about unforced errors. Most people wind up losing rather than other people winning. You double fault. You hit balls out. You beat yourself, right? I mean, this is the essence of your sports psychology theory. Right?
Correct. You see, I mean, it's a deep Freudian thing because, in our society, in our positive thinking society here, that we all think that we're winners, And,
all the self-help books tell us, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And not only the self-help books, but all the, the television shows and all this. Everything there's no negation in the world. There's no negation in sentences permitted. You have to become a positive thinker.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even our president always says that he likes winners. He didn't like John McCain because he became a prisoner of war. He doesn't like people who get taken.
But as you know, Corey, which you will see, and I'll make a prediction, he will show his will to lose. And his will to lose is masked as his will to win. Because that man has a past that shouldn't have been presented into the social space. And so by presenting himself into the social space, at the end, he will lose, which is his great desire.
So these are all
I'm
like...
not fooled by anybody, including anybody. I'm never fooled by this.
Right, including me. You can say it.
Not you, Corey. I have, it happened. But, in fact, Corey, I love that trip you took on the side roads because, you see, I think that that's what's lost here in New York. And your next guest, your lawyer, talked about the same thing down in the Village. And, I feel that way about 42nd Street. And I feel that way about everything. You see, that time is not moving forward, but we had the perfection in the past, and we're going towards lousy, not going towards better.
Yeah.
And, we can show that. You can show this almost in any segment that you do.
Yeah. Even
in the horses, because we've gotten away from nature, where that man makes contact with horses, and it almost seems laughable. But that's the real thing. I once took care of a racehorse, Corey, when with Eddie Dibbs, when I spent 3 months down there. He had a racehorse, and so I used to take care of a racehorse. And it's a very mystical event.
Stephen, John McDonough here. I wanted to go a little off topic. There was some controversy with Serena Williams.
God, we were staying right on point there, John.
But what do you feel about the dress code? Because now Serena Williams went to wear a catsuit, and it's been banned by some sort of tennis association. What was the dress code for you, and do you see dressing differently? Does that make a difference playing, or can you choose what to wear?
I heard about that. Right. I heard about that. But, everything she does is for a different reason. Has nothing to do with dress. Something that when I used to play, it used to be all white clothes.
Yeah.
Now, this is a whole other story. And again, the marketers, in fact, I just saw an article that Federer just signed a contract with that Japanese firm, Oglo or something.
Yeah, Uniqlo maybe. Yeah.
Unique. Yeah, right. Uniqlo, for $300 million. Now, if they were selling only white clothes, no market could support $300 million. So if you have a shirt in white, you're going to have it in blue and green and red. And so that's why it only became a business. And that's why they took away the white clothes.
Well, can you go back a bit? Now, I go back a wee bit for
long pants.
Gorgeous Gussie Moran. She went out with a friend of mine named Tom Corbally, so I got to know her. But there was a huge controversy.
Do you know I know Tom Corbally?
Do you know? Oh, for God. Really? Oh, for God's sake.
I lived in the same building he did 50 years ago.
That's right, yeah. And she wore, she got, remember she got the fringes on her shorts? Yes. She put fringes on her white shorts, and it caused such a controversy that she added something to white shorts.
Right.
Or was it
Right.
what is a skirt? Maybe I don't remember. But,
Yeah,
you know,
it was. She wore like a maybe a mini skirt as opposed
with
to
the
regular.
fringe on it. That's what caused all the controversy. Said, "Oh my God, what's tennis coming to fringes on your drawers?"
Right. Yeah, but you see one of the things that I object about Serena Williams has nothing to do with this catsuit clothes. But you see, one of the reasons I think that the crowds aren't there yet at the U.S. Open, that tennis has changed. I'm not really interested in Serena Williams as being a mother. I go out there to watch her play tennis.
Yeah.
And she's a great tennis player. But every article and every interview, and she says, "Oh, now my match is over. I have to go back to my child. I hate to leave my child even to play the matches. I feel like I'm not a good mother even if I go out and play." Who cares about her being a mother? I want her as a tennis player. And so the point is, this is what's ruining the game. Because now they want playpens in the area, in the players area for the children of women players. So it's become like a family. They've changed the whole nature of what I consider the natural competition and the personal growth possible for all this. You know to me, tennis is a spiritual enterprise. One doesn't have to believe in God for this, because I heard one of you is an atheist.
That's another. That's another boy.
It's a development of the self.
Yep.
You see, and in the competition, you can get that development of the self. There's nothing like a final where you have to struggle into areas that you haven't been before. I don't care about somebody's mother wants to go back and breastfeed her child. I'm interested in the competition between two people as a growth of the human race. That's my personal.
Wow, what a taskmaster, man! You have this guy for your coach. You better be.
It's a titulating story, you might say.
All right.
My son's girlfriend Justina is doing pro work out there at the whatever that center where all the tennis takes place.
Corey was out there
the
last
tennis
night.
center in Flushing.
So she's a pro there, and he's going on Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
To the Open.
Right. He's a tennis player.
No, he's not. Well, it's sort of
You
Just
should
total
tell
amateur.
Corey and have the man get in touch with me. Happy to speak to him.
Oh, great.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Steve,
Thank you very much.
thanks for coming on. Give us this injection of your wisdom. And I knew it would be about more than tennis and serving and returns. I knew it would get into,
Well, thank you for making
And we didn't
me
get
part
into
of
the Kabbalah, which is your whole other thing. But that's another show.
You know what, Corey? How many more people you want to piss off here in the 2 hours?
Right.
Between Stanley Cohen, this guy, Serena Williams fans. I mean, come on. I mean,
sorry.
right.
Sorry, fellas.
No
That's
problem.
all
It was a
right.
pleasure. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, man.
All the best.